For the women who are out there who may have had a lot of sexual partners,
Hmm.
maybe you feel like, quote, damaged goods or something like that.
Yeah,
There's nothing that can't be healed or repaired.
yeah.
Like you can heal yourself. Typically, if you have had, like you've let a lot of people into your life or let a lot of people into your body, it might have been because you didn't have good boundaries when you were growing up. So you never
Hmm.
really learned how to have good boundaries and say no
Hmm.
and like sit down, like this is not good for me. Because
Hmm.
maybe you didn't get to
Mhm.
do that in your family. So
Hmm.
you can heal from that wound. You can say, all right, fine. Whatever. I slept with 40 people. I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever people's number is. I slept with 120 people, okay? I casually had sex with 120 people.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, let's even go further. I was a porn star and whatever, I worked in the porn industry and I slept with like 500 people. I
Hmm.
don't know, whatever. Can you heal from that? Can you cleanse yourself from that? Absolutely. How? With a lot of daily effort and work. So, this is why everybody is so into meditation. It literally is spiritually cleaning yourself. Now, what it takes is, first of all, seeing your mess.
Hmm.
It's not easy to see your own mess, right? Or if you're working with a therapist, you're clearing, you're cleaning, or if you're doing yoga or you're chanting, all these spiritual practices are literally meant to clean and clear you of all the things that hold you back from being your most like glorious
Oh,
self, you know?
Mm.
yeah.
So if you're a woman out there and you've had a lot of casual sex and you feel like damaged goods, you know what? 10 minutes a day, commit. Just say for 10 minutes a day, I'm going to clean myself. I'm going to cleanse myself. And everything that happened to me that hurt me, I'm going to clear it out of my system. And it might take me 2 years. And I'm going to be celibate. It might take me 5 years, but I am going to clean and clear all of that shit out of me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for giving some motivation for the women out there that do have high body counts. And I know that's one of the biggest things that uh, a lot of women would say, like, that's you're putting those women down by saying my view of how men don't want to wife up a hoe. So the thing is, I always tell ladies, look,
Mm.
look, I'm not going to judge you, ladies. Like, if you want to be a hoe, hey, go ahead. If that's what you want out of life, and that's what you want to do. All I'm saying is there are consequences to every decision we do in life. So that's the thing is, because of society today, they're pushing women to have casual sex, but they're not telling them what the consequences of what's going to happen,
Yes.
right? They're
Yeah.
And
telling them
what
it's
I'm
all
saying
it's
is you can
go ahead.
heal from that consequence. It doesn't have to
Exactly.
be like a permanent identity marker. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I guess that's what it is for me. Like, I didn't have that many partners, but
yeah.
I didn't have any casual sex partners, but I did have relationships and they were wounding, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Why were they wounding? I actually think they were wounding because I hadn't dealt with my own wounds and they opened up those wounds for me
Hmm.
and they opened up that wound for themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so y- you know anybody who's out there, you can heal from anything that's happened to you.
Hmm.
Just put in
Yeah.
the work every day. You can heal from it. You don't have to have that be a
Yeah.
permanent part of
Yeah.
you. You could
Mm.
really just take on a new identity by cleaning yourself of
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that you don't want anymore. You know how they
Yeah.
say, I release everything that no longer serves me.
Hmm. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Like I said, I always tell ladies, like, look, you're free to make your own life choices, but just understand that if you decide to be promiscuous, if you decide to be a hoe and go out there and sleep with random and multiple men, just understand there's gonna be consequences not only to uh, attracting men, but also attracting the good men, right? The good men that every woman wants to have. And
Mm.
there's gonna be a great father. Um, and like I said, that's why I always tell women that, look, the society's not gonna tell you that, because what society's telling these ladies is all rainbow and sunshine. Yeah, we'll have sex, everything's good, even happily ever after. You're gonna find your prince and ride to the sunset. that Disney fairy tale, right? But I tell
Yeah.
women, no, like, everything in life you have to work for. If you want a good man, you have to work
Mm.
for it. And
But
then the
you know
way,
what? I'll tell you, Will, love can help happen anywhere. So
yeah,
I'm just taking the most extreme examples, right? So
yeah,
there's this first, I think she's the first, like American Indian porn star is this woman named
yeah,
Sunny Leone, okay? And
yeah,
she's Canadian. She moved here to, uh, California, got into the porn industry. She left at her house at like age 18, but she grew up in a very dysfunctional, alcoholic, trauma-driven
yeah,
family, right?
yeah,
So she goes into the and what does she do? She finds her Jewish husband. I mean,
yeah.
he's also a porn star. But now they're not in the porn industry anymore. They're in Bollywood. They live in Mumbai. They started an art school. They adopted three different foster girls,
Hmm.
and they're raising their family. And they're I think what happened is they rescued each other. That's my take on it.
But
Like she probably just never had anybody, but she was a porn star and she found love. So I just I'd like to say that the women who are out there, you're not permanently damaged just because you're promiscuous. At any point in time, you can decide to be different.
yeah, you, I would say this to add to what you said. They're not permanently damaged, but I would say this just to keep it real with the women out there. There's a high probability of you finding a good man, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I like. I'm all about probability. What are the chances? So if you want to be promiscuous and go sleep around, that's fine. But it could be really, really hard for you to find a good man. And that's why a lot of porn stars. I don't know if you guys ever watched porn star podcasts. Um, if you watch a lot of if you listen to a lot of porn stars they do podcasts, they always talk about how it's so hard for them. Right, these are very beautiful women, very gorgeous women, right? But they find it hard, and like when women always ask me like, oh, gender differences or biological difference doesn't matter. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Look at porn stars, the most beautiful women in the world, but they can't find a husband to save their life. It's because we're different between men and women. But nevertheless, let me know what your
But
thoughts are.
that's also another, I don't know, Will, I'm gonna come at you
Oh,
with
go ahead, go ahead,
this.
go ahead.
Um, that's also a way of disempowering women, right? Like what I want to say is I don't care what's happened to you. I don't
Yeah.
care what bad choices you made, good choices. You know, whatever's happened to you, you can rise above it. Like, I don't know, maybe that's I'm a Hindu, and that's exactly what Hindu religion is about. It's like you can rise above
Mm.
anything. Even if you had casual sex with 500 people, I'm here to say you can rise above that and you can get what you want, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Well,
want a good husband, you can get a good husband, but you're gonna have to put in the daily work for like years probably to cleanse yourself of whatever is holding you back. But like there is no woman on this planet who cannot get what she wants. She's just gonna have to put the daily effort in there. The
yeah.
daily effort.
I no, I totally understand where you're coming from, but for me, it's all about if there's a different path that you can avoid going through those climbing that mountain. Why take that route? Why go in a route that's much more logical and much more better, more advantageous? And of course, like most people don't have the determination because to go through that process. If you talk about just the average person, most people give up, right? There's a certain reason why certain people succeed and certain people don't. The people who are successful and are very driven individuals. Is everybody had that drive. Everybody was successful. It's the same thing with attracting a good man. If every woman was doing what they were supposed to be doing, every woman we marry today have a good man. There's clearly a reason why all the good men are with these certain type of women. Is because those women were able to behave in a way and make choices that was beneficial for them. But like I said, like that, and that's just my standpoint. Is like I'm not trying to disempower women. I just want to women like look, women. If you go down this route, this is the journey you're going to take. There's a lot of mountains you have to climb. There's a lot of
Well,
shit
see,
you have to
I
do.
guess I have a different experience. Like
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of, I live in a small town,
yeah,
and there have been a few women who've come to me who literally were strippers since they were like, it's a small town, you got to make money. They
yeah,
started stripping when they were 16.
yeah,
And, they're coming to me, they're 19, 20 years old, and they're like, I want to go to college. I want to get married. I want to have kids.
yeah.
And I'm like, all right, we're going to make it happen.
All right.
We're going to
Okay.
make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like no one gets to be disempowered. So how are we going to make it happen?
Yeah.
First of all, you got to agree to make less money, right?
Hmm.
You got to agree to make less money, get a job that maybe because in some ways there are advantages to doing those kinds of jobs. You make
Hmm.
money faster,
Hmm.
right? So are you willing to give it up? And are you willing to do the hard work?
Hmm.
Going to college is not easy,
Hmm.
you know. Maybe you work and you do it part time. I helped somebody do that, and she
Yeah.
did get married, and she did have two children.
Hmm.
But why did she get into stripping in the first place? Well, I mean, she was abused by her family as a kid, so it wasn't really her choice. It was like this thing that happened to her, and then she's just reenacting the trauma, reenacting the trauma,
Yeah.
reenacting the trauma, but in a slightly empowered way because she's gaining financial security.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But it wasn't her fault that she got abused as a kid by multiple family members. That's not her fault. And then, the casual whatever sex came from that. It's like she
Yeah.
just really didn't know what she was doing. So I don't know. I just want to, like, you see what I mean? Like, um, I want to be careful about every woman gets to have power. Just
Yeah.
because, you know what I mean? Just it
No.
doesn't. You're not exempt from having power if you've been promiscuous. You still get to empower yourself.
I would say that is like the power comes from accountability, right? Is when you like I said, it's not your fault if you grew up in a certain household, a certain circumstance, and bad things happen to you because we all go through that at some point of our lives.
Yeah.
But but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but we are responsible how we respond to that after.
Mm.
So if bad things happen to you, but you choose not to make any changes, knowing full well those choices doesn't do anything beneficial for your life, but you repeat the cycle, that's on you. So that's why I
But
tell,
people in their 20s, I'm not in my 20s,
yeah,
but people in their 20s are still so young that, like, if they haven't figured it out yet, I'm like, that's okay. If you're in your 30s and you haven't figured it out yet, that's okay. You know what? If you are in your 60s and you have not figured it out yet, that is okay. Like, you're just going to figure it out. You're going to hit consciousness when you hit consciousness. You know what I
okay,
mean?
okay,
Mm.
Like, I just feel like, people just, popcorn pops when it's going to pop. Every
okay.
popcorn kernel pops at a different time. And like, you
Mm.
can't predict when it's going to pop. Somebody's not going to pop until they're like 60 and finally
But
decide to like
but
change their life.
but I know, but the thing is, like, if they don't make any changes and don't take accountability and they keep doing the same thing all over for long periods of time, their life just gets worse. So,
Yeah.
so I'm saying for me, respectfully, I would disagree with what you said, and I think you're actually hurting them instead of telling them directly, look, take accountability for what happened to you. But I would say you always have an opportunity to change your life every single day because you can make new choices every single day.
But
But
I'll tell you, Will,
but
some
yeah,
experiences in life are so incredibly crippling that you
I
can't
know,
even deal with them until your 40s or your 50s or
I,
whatever. I
I
mean,
know,
that's what I've seen.
yeah,
I've had 70-year-olds come to me. I had this one millionaire. I was like, full on, really? This is what
yeah,
I had this millionaire come to me and be like, the only reason you're seeing me is for my money.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, all right, well then don't effing pay me.
yeah,
Test me.
yeah,
Full on, he did not pay me for months.
hmm,
And he was like, my
yeah,
mother never loved me, but I think you might love me
yeah,
because I'm not paying you. And I'm like, oh God, Lord have mercy. Like, I'm a single mother here.
yeah,
Like, but I
Yeah.
did it because on principle, I was
yeah,
like, if that's what you need, because I don't know who else is going to do that for him. And anyways, I believe like if you do something nice, money will just, it may not come from that source, but it's going to come from some other
yeah,
source. So like, he
yeah.
waited until like in his 70s to deal with his mommy issues.
Okay, all right. But yeah, but ladies,
What can
thank
you
you.
do? Like,
No,
that's just how it was, right?
yeah,
Like, what
Mm.
can you do? How could you rush him? How could I rush
yeah.
him?
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is like, I'm sure, ladies, you guys, you've seen people that come from like the most worst circumstances in life, the most terrible, horrendous things that happen to them, abuse, rape, whatever, and you've seen those people able to rise and elevate and become successful and live a very happy life. So those people can do it. There's no excuse for anybody out there, whatever you're going through, that you can do it. It's just you're gonna have to put in the work, the effort, determination. You have to go through that process of making all those changes in your life. It is possible, but like I said, but there's nothing that I think one of my favorite quotes is, "There's nothing that you have gone through that somebody else hasn't gone through the same situation and made a better life out of it." So,
Mm.
that's why for me, I don't have a lot of sympathy. I will have empathy for you, but I won't find sympathy for you because I know there's people right now that's in the third world countries starving, but they're figuring out a way to live and survive and still get out their situation. And if they can do it, you can do it as well. But like I said, I think this, we need both sides, the healing, the process, and people like you, Neelu, and also Mabel, and also they need to hear my people like me. So I'm gonna tell them, yo, get your shit together
Yeah.
and,
Well, I
and
think
change
what
your
you're
life.
trying to do is you're trying to wake people up. You're trying to
Yeah,
say, listen,
yeah,
do something different.
yeah.
And that's an important voice to have out there.